Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Happy Monday. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Thanks for being with us. We always appreciate you showing up for us. Make sure you smash that like button on our YouTube page. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, make sure you're following or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. A couple things to know about before we get the show started. This Friday, we are going to be doing a live postgame show at Legends Grill and Bar in Mokina. You're going to want to join us out there, presented, of course, by our friends at Goose Island, 9710 191st Street in Mokina. Weird game, puck drop at 5 p.m., so you probably see the postgame show around 7:30, 7:45-ish, maybe closer to 8, depending on technical issues, but we're going to be there for the whole game, watching the game. More details to follow. We're probably going to have like an RSVP system on our new and improved ALLCITY.com, which you should also check out. But plan on that. Plan on being there Friday at Legends in Mokina, 9710 191st Street. And speaking of ALLCHGO.com, that's where you're going to want to go for info on our latest takeover at the United Center coming up very soon. November 4th versus the Florida Panthers. We're going to do pregame drinks and a meetup. We're going to have tickets to the game, obviously, and we're going to do the pregame experience at Fifth Third Arena. Lots of great stuff tied into this event. So jump over at allchgo.com, go to our events tab or our diehard tab. If you're a diehard, you'll save on the event, of course, for all the info on our November 4th takeover at the United Center. Hawks and Panthers, that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
A lot of stuff going on with us, and can't wait. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and the new website looks really great.
Really
the whole crew was working on it all weekend, and it just flows wonderfully. It's great stuff, so make sure you check that out. I've got my Blackhawks beat dropping tomorrow, which I think people will get a lot of conversation out of. I already see some people talking about it in the chat. And we got Blackhawks beat coming this week, starting up again, so tons of great stuff.
I mean, rebuild report.
What did I say?
You said your Blackhawks beat twice.
I said it again.
You're just so selfish.
Sorry, I've got like 3 hours of sleep over the last 3 days. So, yes, the rebuild report will drop on Wednesday.
Yep.
So
I
don't miss that.
Oh, yeah. Lots to catch up on the rebuild report, but a lot of it good stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's catch up with practice today, Greg. You were there. I know we have some injury news, some line changes. So what did you learn today?
Well, it certainly sounds like Philipp Kurashev is going to be back tomorrow night against Boston. He was on a line with Jason Dickinson and Corey Perry. That line's broken up because Nick Foligno is up to the top line with Tyler Johnson and Connor Bedard because that shoulder injury for Taylor Hall is, let's be honest, probably should have never came back.
Yeah.
And now he's back to being out for, quote, a bit, week to week, just like they said when the injury happened a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out some time. Don't know how long. So, of course, that's a lot of discussion. The lines today, Tyler Johnson with Bedard and Foligno. Radish, Reichel, Athanasiou on the second line.
Okay.
Kurashev with Dickinson and Perry, as I said. And then that fourth line stayed together. Kachuk, Donato, and Reese Johnson. Luke Richardson was very complimentary of them when he spoke.
Mine was great.
Just said that's exactly what you want out of your energy line. He kind of said, look what Vegas does. They start that fourth line every period, every game. That Wah, Carrier, and I forget who. Kolesar.
Yeah, worked out well in the third period.
They scored essentially the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it technically wasn't, but it was. So he's kind of looking for that same thing out of that line, and that line scored a goal. So that line's going to stick together for at least one more game. So, and the D pairs remain the same as well. Colin Blackwell skated as well. So he's
that was good to see.
We're going to hear from him here in a little bit. An emotional Colin Blackwell in the locker room today. He's still a ways away, and I would imagine he's going to get a conditioning stint in Rockford before they're not just going to say, okay, you've skated twice in 8 months, go get him.
Yeah, no.
Go get him, kid.
They're gonna ease there, and there's zero rush to get him back in the lineup. But as we'll hear, he's just happy to be feeling like a normal human being again. after his sports hernia surgery in the summer and some setbacks and complications to that.
Well, let's talk about that top line with Foligno there on the top right. And I think a couple of things we talked about in the postgame show after the Vegas loss was Taylor Hall was clearly still hurt, just not himself. There were a lot of people saying this guy sucks. He's washed. He's playing with an injury, clearly. So good for him to I appreciate the effort, him trying to go out there and tough it out, but it takes a lot of character, too, to acknowledge, like, hey, I'm probably not helping the team very much right now. I'm going to take a step away and really recover so I can be myself again. And Foligno has been really good. I mean, you want to talk about, Bedard has been probably the best Hawk all season up front, but in terms of, like, consistently showing up, consistently creating chances, consistently doing her job, it's been Nick Foligno every game. All 6 games he has been mentioned as, well, he did his part, right? He has earned it, and I think he's got the kind of a history as a player where he's going to be able to handle playing in a top 6 role. I don't think he's going to look lost. It's not ideal, but
right. He's just older.
Yeah.
And here's another thing to think about. Yes, this is the second time they're facing Boston.
Yep.
And I was talking about this exact scenario with our guy Tab Bramford of Bleacher Nation. They had Brad Marchand messing around with Bedard, trying to get in his head, get him off his game.
That, yeah.
Right. You got Nick Foligno out there. The term swatting flies, keeping the flies off. He's going to be keeping the flies off of Bedard.
Sure.
Brad Marchand might think twice about messing around with him, or if he does, he's going to have Nick Foligno to answer to, and
he'll have him in his face.
He played with him and knows, maybe that's not a guy I want to mess with. So.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Jay, he's been the most consistent offensive player, all-around player that they've had. And, he's still he's older, but he still skates well. And Tyler Johnson's a guy that has played with high-skilled players a lot in his career. He's a savvy vet that knows where to be on the ice. He's defensively responsible. So you've got Foligno there that's going to go in the corners and get the puck. Johnson can make the pass if he needs to, or he knows, be ready, the pass is coming my way.
He better know it by now.
You would think.
It's been 2 times we've seen him not be ready so far.
So, yes, it's not the greatest situation, and I know, I don't know, do we want to get into the, need more help discussion now?
Well, I haven't finished it yet, but that's what I'm writing for Blackhawks Beat tomorrow, and I know people want to get into it, so we can get into it a little bit here, I think. It's you have to remember that trades don't even really start until Thanksgiving,
and even that
because teams don't even know what they have yet.
I know a lot of it out there is, they got to trade for somebody. Well, how many teams are dangling top 6 forwards out there right now?
Connor Garland is it. That's it.
And that's not even really the team dangling. That's the team saying, go and seek a trade.
Yeah, if you can find a trade,
right.
Go
That's
ahead.
his agent. That's not the Canucks saying, here's this guy. They've given his agent permission. And I like Connor Garland.
Yes.
I want to call him Carlin Goner.
George Carlin.
He's a nice player.
Yeah.
But he's not the,
No, he's
some
not
people
the
are
be-all,
acting
end-all.
like,
No.
it's the second coming of Mario Lemieux out there. He'd be a nice addition, but chances are he's going to get here and he won't get any points his first 2 games with Connor Bedard, and everybody's like, why did we trade for this guy?
What's a comp for Connor Garland? Is he a Athanasiou? Maybe a little bit better than Athanasiou?
With a little more finish.
Yeah.
Maybe not as fast, but he's that same type
in
of
terms
player.
of production, probably
Yeah.
close to that.
Yeah. It's just a tough time to be looking for top 6 talent.
Yes.
And we were going through some teams that the only teams that are really looking to trade guys now are teams that are trying to dump salary cap.
Yeah.
And a lot of these salary cap dump type players, they're not exactly guys you want to be throwing in your top 6 anyway.
Right.
So there's not going to be
Toronto.
there's not going to be a superstar walking into that locker room anytime soon. Probably not at all this year.
Right, yeah.
These similarity scores on Hockey Reference, which are always fun, through 6 years, which is where he is in his career. The names you probably will all recognize: Patrick Marleau, he's not that good. Patrick Berglund, Joffrey Lupul, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, not that good. Mark Pavlovich, Andrei Kovalenko, Bo Horvat, which is crazy because former teammate, Mike Foligno, and David Vyborny. So we're not talking about...
The closest for their career is, as far as current NHLers go, is Chandler Stevenson.
Careful with that one, though, because suddenly Chandler Stevenson has become a stud.
It took him 3 or 4 teams to get that.
Yeah, he's not...
He got to a coach. He got to a coaching staff that knew how to use him properly and put him in a position to succeed.
And he has. He's been great.
Sounds like what Connor Garland needs.
Right.
Well, playing with Connor Bedard would certainly help him.
It would certainly
if
help.
he's ever going to become, Chandler Stevenson.
Another person that's on Connor Garland's career list is Tyler Arneson.
Tyler Arneson was not a bad player.
No.
He was just not a franchise-altering center like they wanted you to believe he was. He's right here in our set.
No, I feel like Connor Garland.
He's the biggest one.
I feel like Connor Garland's role, if he were to come to this team to replace Taylor Hall, would be we need someone who you can squint hard enough to see can play in the top 6, and for a short time replace Taylor Hall in a top 6 role. And then when Taylor Hall is able to come back, you have Connor Garland who shifts down your lineup and plays in a more likely role in a second or third line role for the rest of the season, and then he at least has some runway with the team. 27 years old, so you're not signing a guy who's 36 on his last legs of his career. And you can look at Connor Garland as a guy that if he came here, you could look at as being part of that kind of like bridge to the end of the rebuild.
Bridge to Comesso.
You go along the bridge of Comesso to the next bridge. That I think is the player and the team and the fit that makes the most sense. But I don't take Kyle Davidson as the kind of guy that makes snap reactionary moves. And with all the experience that we've had with him and that Blackhawks fans have had with him, he doesn't give me any feelings of deviating from the plan whatsoever.
I agree with
sucks that Taylor Hall is missing time, and coming into this season, Hall and Bedard were going to be locked together wherever they were in the lineup. So it definitely sucks that he's going to miss week to week time, especially right at the beginning of the season when you're trying to build that chemistry between those two players. I just don't see it unless the significance of Hall's injury is worse than week to week, and and like you said, you were talking into January and whatever. Then I can see maybe looking at getting somebody who can play in a top 6 role, who can also kind of fit that mold of the organizational direction. But it's either Connor Garland or I don't know, William Nylander, and I don't think Toronto's getting rid of him at this point. So
no, Toronto was clearly going for it this year, and we'll figure out Nylander when they can figure out Nylander. But I just want to be clear, I was for bringing Garland in before the Hall injury. I think you just make that top line Bedard, Hall, and Garland, and that's your top line. He plays on the right side. Hall's a left winger. Like, there's your top line, and Connor Garland is not your ideal. He's not Martin St. Louis. He's not Pavel Bure. He's not the kind of guy that's going to pump in 50 and be an all-star for you. But when you look at this roster, he's the best right winger unless you are ready to pull the plug on the Reichel experiment. And I don't think I know it's frustrating as fans to watch, but he's gotten better every game, and he's had his moments every game. He hasn't scored yet, but it's coming. Mm-hmm. And I think what we know about Davidson and what we know about Luke Richardson is they've got more patience than the fans, as they should. That's their job. Yeah. So I don't think they're ready to just call it on Reichel yet.
No. Nor they shouldn't. And another thing I've seen out there today in my mentions is, they're worried about Connor Bedard with this no help, lack of talent. Well, a kid with just no help and lack of talent around him is on pace for 27 goals and 54 points.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt his development because he's going to think he's got to do everything on his own. Oh, kind of like he did every year in Regina. Like, this is the most talent he's ever actually had to play with.
Right.
Like, he's a superstar. He's going to want to do it all himself anyways. this season isn't about making the playoffs. It isn't about like what we've seen from Connor Bedard so far has been great. Like there's a lot there to where you're like, this is going to be really good. Like it's 6 games into this thing. Just because the Blackhawks have an overabundance of young defensive prospects doesn't mean they need to go out and trade one for a guy to come in and play with Bedard until Taylor Hall's ready to come back. It just that long term, that makes no sense. And if we knew anything about Kyle Davidson, is he is a long-term guy. He is playing the long game here. So he's not going to worry about 4 to 6 weeks right now. He's not going to give up something that he thinks can maybe be a piece next year. So Connor Bedard has, quote, help.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just to do it.
Don't do it because you can't. But
if there's something makes sense in the context.
Yes, if a guy like Connor Garland, if Kyle Davidson thinks Connor Garland is a guy that can be here and be productive for the next 2 seasons after this, then sure. Go out and get it. But don't just go out and get another veteran just because you can. What does that accomplish? He's not in the market of giving up assets for stopgap guys right now.
What's that bottom comment there? It just popped up.
I like Bijan's.
It's No Roy. It says, we have absolutely nobody to get the puck for Bedard with Hall out. It's just dumping the puck in and nobody winning any battles.
What does Nick Foligno do?
Yeah, Foligno's there doing it. Corey Perry's there doing it. Like, that's just not...
Well,
and again, these guys don't just grow on trees either.
On Bedard's line, we have to see what happens with Foligno paired with him. Like Foligno's doing it with Dickinson and Perry because that's their job. Dump it in, go win a battle,
but Donato wins board battles. He digs out pucks.
Yeah,
Radish,
he's not paired
Radish
with. He's
not
not
paired
paired
with
with
the
Bedard.
corner last game with Bedard. Like it's not time to be. It's not time to be like panicking. Nobody should be panicking. Connor Bedard is just fine, guys.
Yeah, 4 points in 6 games.
He's going to be okay with or without Taylor Hall. Whoever you put out there with Connor Bedard, he's going to elevate them. Yeah. And if they don't, they'll be gone and the next guy up. Like, it will be fine. This season isn't about winning. It's about developing. And the reason the Blackhawks got Connor Bedard in the first place is because they had a crap-ass roster. While it got improved, it's still a pretty bad roster. We knew all of this going in.
Right. And I
it's
saw...
going to be okay.
Jacob say, this isn't a troll, and I apologize ahead of time. DeBrincat would have been awesome on Bedard's line. Bedard would not be a Blackhawk if Alex DeBrincat was still here.
Sure.
Neither would Kevin Korchinski.
Nope.
No.
So...
Or if they wanted to go get him this year, maybe he's referring they should have got him
as a free agent.
Should have brought him back.
It felt like that ship.
Well, they didn't get him as a free agent.
But yeah, Detroit traded for his rights.
Oh, right.
And I mean, Alex DeBrincat is
where he wanted to be, though.
Right.
There's a reason it was Detroit that got him because I think DeBrincat made it pretty clear that this is where I want to be.
Yeah, and DeBrincat is scorched earth right now.
He's playing in a place that he wants to be in. And it makes all the difference. When you see players that are playing in situations that they don't want to be in, I don't know how many NHLers power through and play at all-star elite levels when they're not happy with where they're playing in. He didn't want to go to Ottawa. He didn't want to leave Chicago.
No.
But he was traded to Ottawa and tried to make the best of it in a situation that he didn't want to be in. He wasn't close to his family. He wasn't close to his young growing family with his son, being back here and the Detroit area and for his family. So now he's actually in Detroit, close to everybody it's such a different situation. And so when you see a player who is in a good situation in their personal lives, it translates to on the ice. So I'm happy for Alex DeBrincat to be
me too.
playing the way he is.
I just wish he was doing it for any other team.
Hey, and look, I prefer the NHL when the Red Wings are good. I know it is
better for the league.
Ancient rival and all those things, but like
not anymore.
Having Detroit suck for a decade is not good for the game. That's a heritage franchise. Like, you want the original 6 to be competitive. Yeah. That is really good for the league. And Detroit, man, so far they look like an effing wagon. And I know it's early. But all my Steve Yzerman jokes have aged poorly. Steven, you need to go back and delete all those.
Let the other 75 games play out. I don't think Alex DeBrincat is going to be scoring 91 goals this year. I think some of those numbers are start coming back to earth. But listen, having to change your lineup and build lineups on the fly, game to game. That is, every team does it every week. It's the NHL. Injuries happen.
Yeah.
And teams can't just go out and say, well, our top line guy got hurt, so let's just go out and trade for another top line guy. It just doesn't work that way. It sounds great. It works if you turn off the, no trade rejections on NHL. You can go get anybody you want.
That's right.
But that's just not how it works. So somebody's going to have to step up and be the guy with Bedard. Somebody who's here is just going to have to step up and elevate their game.
And
You know what we need?
I think it's all getting amplified too because this is happening right at the beginning of the season when you have undefeated Vegas, undefeated Boston, undefeated Colorado, and Toronto all on the schedule.
5 games in a row against those undefeated teams. By the way.
Right, exactly.
It's insane.
And all those games to start the season, you had all the road trips. You had all the games on the road and the 5-game road trip to start the season. All the home openers, including your own. Like there's just so much going on around the team that anything, especially Bedard, anything that is not him scoring 4 goals in his debut or him, with 20 points through 5 games or anything like that, anything less than that seems like, what's wrong? What's the problem? It's just, the problem is you have a inferior Blackhawks team playing teams that are all looking to contend for the Stanley Cup this year. So once we see this team against more evenly matched competition, I think we're going to get a better feel of where everyone is at, including Bedard. And again, losing Hall doesn't help, but it's not like they are completely devoid of anyone who can just play with Connor Bedard. They have some guys that can make it work, and especially if it's just role guys. Like Nick Foligno is a role guy. Tyler Johnson is a versatile role guy. They don't necessarily need a superstar this year, a superstar to play with Connor Bedard. Like they can have guys play their roles, and Bedard will be able to adjust his game to whoever he's playing with, and I think he has the ability to do that.
And also, it's also important to remember, we talked about this a lot this summer, that the next 2 free agent classes are absolutely loaded. So it is expected that Kyle Davidson's going to do something in one of those 2 free agent classes to bring in help for Bedard. So you might not want to go and just panic move, do something because of the Taylor Hall injury, or even if you want to do it before then, just to do it. Again, like I've said from jump, and I hope we're making it clear, if it makes sense in the context of the plan, cool. Don't go make a move just to make a move. And I don't think Kyle Davidson's going to do either, quite frankly. But I really don't think he's going to go panic. And there's nothing in his personality that says that he's worried. They have played well most of the games against juggernaut teams. Colorado, they got their asses kicked. They're out of gas, and Colorado was kicking everyone's ass. Mm-hmm. Vegas, they played them even for 40 minutes and then fell apart at the end.
That's going to happen.
But most of the games, and they played like ass for the first 40 in Montreal, but overall they've been right there in most of the games they've played.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see them play anyone other than a cup contender.
Yeah, I'd love to see them start playing Nashville and St. Louis and Arizona and
bring on the San Jose Sharks,
San
Bring on
Jose,
Atlanta,
and
bring on
Columbus,
Dallas.
and all these teams, and love to see them play those teams and be like, okay, where are they actually at?
Right.
Let's stop playing cup contenders.
Well, and that's why I guess that's why I was so pissed after the Montreal game.
Right.
Because in my mind, it's like, okay, this is an evenly matched game, and then
it should look better than that.
and they were a post away from tying it still. So
close. Yeah.
Anyway, you know what the Hawks need?
They need a hero.
They need a hero.
They need a hero. And we got a hero, a part of our team here at CHGO, our good friends over at Hero Bread. They are not your average bread company, obviously not just the name, but they give you healthier alternatives to your bread consumption. And we're talking to Chicago Sports fan, and bread is a huge part of our diet.
The main food group, my friend.
It is. It sure is. Well, you don't have to worry about taste and texture with Hero Bread. Their bread is soft, it's delicious, it's flavorful, and it also has high fiber or ultra-low net carbs, as well as 0 grams of sugar per slice. So you get all the great taste of your favorite types of bread with more nutritional value. And right now, our friends at Hero are going to give you 10% off your very first order at hero.co by using the promo code CHGO. Hero Bread Hero makes sliced breads, buns, tortillas, and they are available at hero.co and Amazon as well. So whether you're making a sandwich, you want to make some brats or hot dogs, maybe some burgers, or it's taco night.
Oh, yeah.
They got it all.
Tuesday.
Right now, Hero Bread is offering the CHGO family 10% off their first order. Just go to hero.co and use the promo code CHGO to save on Hero Bread today. That's HERO.co to save 10% today.
Yes, sir. Sliced bread is great. And so is
What's the best thing since it?
legalized cannabis.
Nice.
And if you want to get some of that, go to our favorite spot, Sunnyside, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your football season, Bears. No matter where you are on your cannabis journey, damn it. Yeah, everyone says jersey. I heard Carm do it, too.
Cannabis jersey?
Carm did it yesterday.
They're gonna
Carm's in my head.
Should we
to
get
send
some
you a
cannabis jerseys in here?
now.
It's because we're talking sports too much.
Some hemp-made jerseys?
Yeah, like a hemp jersey.
Too much
Yeah.
sports, not enough cannabis.
All right, resetting. Ahem.
We'll take that
No
out
matter
in
where you
post.
are on your cannabis journey, put on your cannabis jersey for easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They've also got their loyalty program, Sunnyside Rewards. It's Illinois' favorite dispensary. Why? Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I talk all the time about Mindy's and good news, so I'm gonna highlight another great brand, FloraCal. Born on the West Coast, FloraCal, see Cal, get that, California, Farms is committed to rigorous pheno hunting, as we all are, and small batch cultivation practices that yield only the best results. Flower is always hand-trimmed and expertly cared for to ensure only the best flowers, vapes, gummies, and pre-rolls go to the market. They've also got Wonder, Remedy, High Supply, Cresco, so many great brands. And now through October 31st, head to sunnyside.shop. Use that code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. And that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder. And this makes me laugh because the expiration is on Halloween. And there's like all these like PSAs of like, people are putting drugs in your kids'
Nobody
trick-or-treat
likes your
bags.
kids to give them free
I
dogs.
promise you, I'm not putting a pre-roll in your kid's bag. That is for me.
No.
Yeah.
That is not for your child.
Nobody,
Hell no.
Nobody likes your kids enough to give them free drugs. Get over it.
We did have, when I lived in Palos Heights, there was like a meth house in our neighborhood,
Nice.
and we didn't know. So my daughter was maybe 3 or 4 when trick or treating, and answered the door and they just threw Taco Bell sauce packets in her bag. I'm like, all right,
Sweet.
Better
that's
than meth.
useful. I can use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better than meth.
Better than that.
It is that cheaper, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Anyway, don't do that.
I'm gonna do
Although
that. I'm
I
gonna do
will,
that this year.
I will
Sauce
say,
packets.
talking about Taco Bell sauce packets, Steven and I were very disappointed in our late night Taco Bell when we were in Pittsburgh because we asked for about 20 sauce packets and we got 0.
Ooh.
I was looking in the empty bag for 30
was tough.
seconds. It's got to be in there somewhere. And no.
That
That's
was a tough blow at 3:30 in the morning.
The taco sauce that was on the floor and put it on there.
That wasn't taco sauce.
that was not
That was something
Well,
else.
you know, at 3
Speaking-
o'clock in the morning,
Speaking
on a
of meth
Tuesday
houses.
in Pittsburgh, you were lucky you got tacos.
That's
let
true.
alone sauce. Beggars
true.
can't be choosers at 3 in the morning.
Should have gone back to Genoa and had another pizza.
You could have gone across the street to the all night bodega and got some hot sauce.
Could have.
You obviously didn't. You didn't want it. enough.
Chose
You know what
not.
we didn't talk about
chose
either
not to.
Is Pittsburgh also had shirtless guy across the street.
Did they?
There was like a naked person in the,
Oh
the
yeah,
apartment.
in that apartment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
It was only can be seen from the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
was
Well,
a
there's
fun
only one original shirtless guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one and only. The only one that matters.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we hear from Colin Blackwell? This was really good today. And I think as I was driving in, listening, and on very little sleep, I'm feeling very emotional. So I kind of started feeling guilty about like all the fun we've had at his expense. And that's what it is. It's fun. But I think sometimes we lose sight that whether it's, Connor Bedard or Colin Blackwell, these dudes are humans and they go through it. And I think Colin Blackwell is going to let you behind the curtain on what he's been going through over the last few months. It's pretty brutal. So check it out. Just Colin Blackwell after practice today.
Without any pain and be able to get on the ice and skate and stuff, and I finally kind of got over that hump. It's been a long road, and then a lot of not many ups, but a lot of downs. So just to be out there with the guys today, it was just felt like normal for the first time in a while. So it was a good day to wake up, know that I was going to be skating today, and then go through it and get some reps in and feel pretty good about it.
Does this all go back to the sports center surgery?
Yeah. Like, I haven't, the summer's kind of sucked. It was, February 27th, I think it was, and then I didn't get the surgery until March or so. And then it was just kind of, I was here all summer doing rehab, and I just kind of had a couple setbacks. And then before training camp, after a setback, I was just trying to skate. So when training camp, hopefully I could get over the hump, and unfortunately had another setback. So it was kind of just it was very frustrating. It's been a long time, and it was kind of just from several months ago, so, and it's just been kind of one thing after another, but we've been able to kind of figure some things out, and like I said, kind of get over the hump, and finally for the first time in a long time feel close to being like myself that I used to be. So that's a big step for me.
So how close do you think you are to being game ready?
I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't really thought that far ahead or anything along those lines. I'm like I said, I took my dog for a walk this morning, and I felt good, without walking and not taking anti-inflammatory stuff and stuff along those lines. I feel as close to myself as I remember and what I used to be and stuff. So, I mean, I look around the room. I mean, it's been 8 months since I've played hockey, and everybody else here got a summer and then got a training camp, and then 6 games so far. So, I mean, I'm a realist. I'm pretty behind schedule, but at the same time, I'm a gamer. So whenever I get thrown in there, or if I get that opportunity, I'll be ready.
Is it drawing? I was going to say, is it drawing for you? You come into the room and it looks completely different.
I mean, no, we got a great core group of people here, and there's some new faces. And I've been around. I've been around the whole summer, so it's not like I don't know some of these guys or play against some of these guys. So some of the people they brought in, some familiar faces. I mean, I played on a couple teams with Ryan Donato, and then playing against some of the other guys. And then we brought back some guys that had really good ends of the year last year, and so I like the makeup of the team that we have, and like I said, familiar faces. And even though I haven't been playing, I've been around. So it does suck that probably the last 2 months after I got hurt, after the trade deadline last year, I think the boys were on the road for probably 6 out of the last 8 weeks of the season, and then kind of here by myself, other than maybe Murph and Blast for the whole summer. And then the guys go on the first road trip of the season for 2 weeks. So. Yeah, like I said, it's not a different really room. There's a lot of guys that were here last year, and then some new faces that have had a ton, rejuvenated the locker room. Some of the the older veteran guys, always making sure that people are hanging out with each other and good vibes around the room. And then some of the younger guys that you can see are on the ice and working hard, and you can tell that they're getting a taste of it and they really want it. So it's a good buzz around the room.
Has it been tough to be on the sideline while these roster battles are happening, and you want to kind of show that you still belong as a piece on this team?
I mean, it sucks, yeah, absolutely. But you see, like you talk roster battles, some guys have been playing awesome, and for me, just when I'm not playing, I'm rooting for everybody to do well, So it's one of those things that I can't say enough about the guys in the room of like how good human beings they are. And so when you have good people in the locker room, there are roster battles that are happening, but good things are happening to good people. So that's exciting. And for me, I can only control what I can control, And for the last 8 months, I haven't really been able to control that much. So for me, I just kind of take it day by day, and from the sidelines anytime, whether you're healthy or unhealthy, it sucks. But I'm a part of a great organization, a great group of guys so far, and everybody's been awesome. So from that standpoint, you want to be out there and you want to be playing. But so far, I think a lot of guys have been playing really good hockey and show a lot of good things. And, it's exciting to finally jump out here on the ice with them.
What was that? Oh, sorry.
I'm sure that's been challenging mentally, and what's helped you get over that?
Yeah, you know what? It's been pretty draining, to be quite honest with you. But sorry. Basically, my family, wife, they've been awesome. A lot of the guys too. So Yeah, they've been unreal.
Can you describe like when it got really bad? What was the feeling like? What were you not able to do that you just kind of took for granted in your daily life or your hockey life?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had the game taken away from me before, so I don't take much for granted anymore. But it's, I mean, when you have stuff, lower body injury, kind of like I had, and you can't really go for a walk without any pain or anything along those lines. Goes back to, it can be definitely mentally grueling and stuff. So, I mean, for me, it was just being able to just be like a normal human being a little bit before I can even, jump back on the ice. Like I probably took, I think it was like 6 months off from skating and stuff like that because I couldn't do the stuff upstairs that I needed to do in order to prepare myself for ice and stuff. So, yeah, like I said, it's been a long journey, but like I said, I feel pretty comfortable getting over the hump here and just trying to get better than yesterday kind of every single day. And I realize that I'm a little behind schedule here, but that's why I try to get here, put my work in, and then try to do stuff upstairs, do stuff on the ice, try to get as much as I can to try to catch up with some of these guys.
That is Colin Blackwell. Still, like Greg said, to start the show, a ways away from returning, but good to see him back on the ice. And, I mean, like we said before we played that, I think we forget sometimes like what these guys sacrifice to get to the point they're at. And for a guy who's a fringe NHL player anyway, to have gone through this and see who this team is bringing in, and there's people talking about it in the chat, like, where does he fit? I don't know where he fits. Yeah. And he doesn't know where he fits.
I mean, we won't know until he's consistently on the ice. And I think, you hear from him just being able to feel normal again, not even as a hockey player, but just as a person, being able to go out and do things, in his everyday life, take his dog for a walk and everything, to do that and feel normal. I mean, that's just a baseline for him. So getting to the point where he can feel normal as a hockey player and in the rigors of a season, that's going to take some time too. I know we've talked about it before, like really feels like once he is practicing regularly again, and then once it gets to that point of like, okay, he's ready to come back to games, it'll likely be like a conditioning stint with Rockford and then kind of see where he's at. But as far as the timeline of when that happens, who knows? Like, this was just the first time he was on the ice where it wasn't a struggle just to get through everything. So, yeah, I mean, you feel for him. The expectations were that he was going to get that surgery at the end of last season and then be ready for this season, and it wasn't. So it's just such a grind to get back to feeling normal. And he's one of those guys that even at full health this year, he would have been fighting for a roster spot. So now, with the start of his season delayed, he's even further behind in the fight for a roster spot.
It's what drives me nuts when you're watching any sort of sporting event with someone and they're like, these guys make millions of dollars. They are sacrificing the later years of their lives in many cases. We watched last year, DeMar Hamlin basically die on the field. Like, there's a reason they get paid this money. They put their bodies through a ton, and when you hear what he's been through, it's unreal. And it's man, I feel for him, and I hope that he gets a chance, to earn a spot here in the NHL. I mean, look, if you can play, you can play, and if you come and win it, I mean, look, like I think we all kind of thought like, oh, well, Reese Johnson will be on the way out, but when he's had his chances, he's made the best of it, and now they can't take him out.
Yeah, I
mean, hopefully Blackwell gets a similar chance.
Yeah, at the beginning of training camp, I had kind of said Blackwell probably has the advantage over those other guys fighting for the spot because of how well he played on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
But now, look at what Boris Tkachuk is doing, especially on that PK.
Like we all predicted.
You're not taking him off of there. So there's, again, that's why something like this for a guy like Blackwell is so tough, because he's fighting for his job to begin with. He misses time, and now he looks and goes, well, not getting that spot.
And he's watching He's watching his chance slip away, and he can't even fight for it.
He's got no control. There's nothing worse in life than being put in a situation where you have no control over it. It's the worst.
That is correct. Oh, yeah. Can confirm.
Yes. Yeah, right. Regardless if it's professionally, health-wise, going through it with a loved one, when you sit there and you realize, I just have to take it.
Yes.
It's the worst. I won't wish it on anybody.
Yes. All right, change the subject before I turn into Colin Blackwell. Should we talk about Kurashev?
Sure.
He talked. Should we play it?
did.
Do we have time? Do we have time to get to all that?
Yeah, Kurashev is quick. Before we play it, I just have to say, Philipp Kurashev getting so much better in his media duties compared to the first couple of times I talked to him in Rockford.
Well, yeah, he's probably more comfortable now.
More comfortable,
Yeah.
a little better grasp of the language, but yeah, actually good stuff from Kurashev today.
Duties.
Feeling good, excited to finally be back, and it's just it was a hard time, but now it's I'm really happy.
You hoping to be ready to go tomorrow?
Yes, I hope so. Feel good today, and I think even better tomorrow. So we'll see.
How tough was it to be watching these games and not be able to participate?
Yeah, it's the worst, especially after last year. The end of the season, I was hurt too, and then first game back, I get hurt again in preseason. So it's not fun. It's more hard, I think, mentally, because you can't be with the guys, especially on that long road trip, 11 days. It was pretty tough, but now I'm happy to be back.
Did you realize at first this would keep you out several weeks, or did it seem maybe more minor at first?
No, I had no clue. I practiced the next day too, and it just kept hurting, and it's been a long time, and I'm just happy to be back.
Did it happen on a specific play, or?
Yes, just the battle in the corner, but I don't even actually know exactly how, but I just felt the pain, and it just kept coming, so that's how
In a game or practice?
game.
Game.
What have you been able to, just watching, learn about the team, with all these new pieces that it has? What are your impressions?
Yeah, I think when we were playing good, it was really good, and then of course some games were more hard, especially that Colorado one. But I think we have a lot of things to learn from. We're a young team and we're new together, but I think slowly it's coming together, and hopefully we can build on something.
We talked with you in camp and about you have a new contract, trying to, I guess, live up to that expectations and take another step in your game. You're going to be extra motivated now after missing a few weeks to try to prove that as soon as you can.
You always try to prove yourself, and yes, it's hard when you're out and you can't do anything except train and stuff, and it's a good opportunity for me to show myself, and I think I'm ready for it.
Do you feel like you're caught up to the speed, or do you feel like you have to catch up?
It was my first practice back with the team. I did the morning skate, but the morning skate is a little bit different. So it was just getting the timing back and all of that, and we get one more skate tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be ready.
Thanks, Phil.
Philipp Kurashev seems to be back. I would be surprised if he's not in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a guy ready to play. Luke Richardson said that they wanted to get him a little contact today in practice so he can see how he feels in the morning. So as long as he feels good, he's in. I know some people are like, well, why isn't he with Athanasiou and Reichel right off the bat? It was the same thing when Athanasiou came back. He kind of eased him back in, put him on that line. He's going to be, it could change tomorrow, but he was with Dickinson and Perry, not really the type of guy that fits that type of line.
No.
But, we'll see.
He'll get some pucks, though.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be
that gives him an opportunity to kind of be a scoring option,
Like the guy
in that
scoring-wise.
trio, rather than being more of the defensive forward puck retriever in the Athanasiou Reichel trio.
And we had a couple comments and questions about Colton Dach in the chat. He skated this morning ahead of practice on his own. He's still trying to get through that ankle injury, but seeing him on the ice didn't look like he was hindered in any way is a good sign.
Good sign for him.
And someone asks, where does he fit? He fits in Rockford. I mean, I think that was going to be the plan all along.
Yeah.
This NHL roster just kind of like Cole Gutman. It's more beneficial, especially now after missing the last 2 weeks. Whenever he's ready to get playing, it's probably going to be at Rockford. Do we see him at some point this year? Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
But just like Cole Gutman, what's better for Colton Dach? Big picture right now. Playing 8 minutes a night out of place on the fourth line in Chicago, or playing 17 minutes a night in the top six in Rockford? It's the latter.
It's in Rockford,
Right.
Yeah, especially as a 20-year-old.
Yes, we got to have big picture thoughts. I know we're excited about some of these guys. We
Well,
want to get them up here, but
I mean, he was playing well at the end of the preseason enough to warrant, sticking around. And I think if he wasn't injured, there was a real discussion of potentially being part of the roster to start the year. But with the injury, now having to rehab it and get some time back, going to Rockford is the best.
and there's
option.
no doubt that Luke Richardson is a huge Colton Dach fan.
He is.
He's a big fan. So I would assume we're going to get to see him at some point before the season's over. Probably post-trade deadline for sure.
I hope so. You could argue that he probably earned himself a job anyway, if not for his age and experience.
Yeah, but he's never played a professional game outside of a preseason game. Get him in Rockford. The AHL that's a league that is perfect for what he does. He's going to be able to play his style and be very effective at it, and then let him get his confidence up, knowing that he can handle the pro game, and then bring him up here when the time dictates it.
Yep.
When he drives to Rockford, he should do it in a Chevy, shouldn't he?
We prefer not just any Chevy, but a Chevy from Ray Chevy in Fox Lake.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking to our pals over there at Ray, and they have this pledge. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's called the Ray Price Promise. It's a guarantee that the price you see online is the price you're going to pay when you walk into the dealership. We found in many cases other dealers will raise the price on you. Like when you come into the dealership, they're going to say things like, are you a recent college graduate? Are you active in the military? Are you a farmer? Are you a fourth liner in the NHL? And in most cases, the answer is going to be nope. And that's when the other dealers get shady on you and raise the price, saying the price online included limited rebates that you don't qualify, pal. Well, at Ray Chevy, that's not the case. The price you see online is the price you pay with no add-ons to the price ever. In fact, Ray will do everything possible to find additional savings for you, which make the price lower than what you see online. As one of the top-selling dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories. And right now, you can save big at Ray Chevy during their Truck or Treat Savings event because 0% is back and now available on new Silverado trucks, the perfect tailgate vehicle. Nothing spooky about that deal. So come on in to Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake and find the vehicle you've been searching for. And best of all, pay zero hidden fees with the Ray Price Promise. Visit Ray Chevrolet in person in Fox Lake or head on over to raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
And find
What if you don't take the truck? What if you take the treat? What do you get?
You get a truck.
Oh, so you get a truck either way.
Right. The treat is the truck.
That's a great deal.
It could be a boat.
It could be a truck. It could even be a truck.
Yes.
Wonderful.
All right, well, find yourself a truck. Find yourself some great money lines at Circa Sportsbook. They got tight money line splits and low hold models. Games will strive to be a minus 110 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike those jerks at other sports books, which may use minus 115 or minus 120 splits. Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets like futures, golf tournaments, etc., especially compared to other books. They've got high app limits and transparency. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do not limit winning players. We encourage bettors to download and explore all betting apps available and compare the lines from each sports book. Circa has incredible customer service. There's real people behind the curtain at Circa Sports who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots. All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. You know it is being handled. Download the Circa Sports Illinois at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. And if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Or text GAMB, G-A-M-B, to 833-234. Or visit areyourreallywinning.com. Do that if you have a gambling problem.
Do it all.
All right, last little bit of stuff we have here. Two cuts from Luke Richardson. Let's start with the Kevin Korchinski one, if that one's ready to go. He was asked by Scott Powers, you're getting that 10-game threshold here to make a decision. Have you any more clarity on Kevin Korchinski? And here's what Luke had to say.
Korchinski is going to come up on 9 games, I think, later this week. How much are you guys discussing the 10-game threshold, and what sort of assessment have you seen of him?
I think he's progressing really well. We were talking with Kevin Dean this morning, and he said he really likes to take in information, and he's open and receptive to it, and puts it into his game. To me, that's a sign of a good pro. He looks excellent out there from myself. There's a couple like little bumps or the puck bounces against you, but that happens to everybody. And he doesn't seem to be, too erratic after something like that happens. He just settles in, and he's very confident with the puck. He's skated the puck really well. So I haven't had very much conversation about it. I think we're just happy he's doing well, and it looks like as long as progression keeps staying the same, then we'll just keep going. All right.
Thank you.
That does not sound like a guy going away anytime soon.
No.
I don't think any of us really expected the 9-game thing to mean much anyway.
He would have had to
have awful.
Yeah, he would have had to have looked atrocious. Yeah. And he hasn't. He's looked pretty competent as an NHL defenseman at 19 years old, which is pretty good. And I think as Richardson says, like, as long as he keeps playing the way he's playing, seeing some of the upward trajectory in his development slowly throughout the season, as long as he's going on that path and not regressing in any way, there's no reason to send him back. I mean, if he shows you that he can play in this league already and do it consistently, there's no reason to send him back if he doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the top 4 defensemen on this team.
Yeah.
And until he doesn't look like he is one of those guys, there's no reason. He's here to stay. I think he's here all 82. Like, I don't even think the trip to the World Juniors alone is in the cards. He got his ring already.
Yeah,
Why bother at this point?
We'll see.
Maybe if they got upset last year and didn't win, you send him back for that. But
yeah,
if he keeps playing the way he's playing, there's really no reason to. Now, as we just mentioned with the schedule, he's out there playing against some of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, he's
right, and he's holding his own.
Right.
So I don't think you're going to see a drop off when the Ducks come to town or any of these other teams. So he's out there looking good against teams that are going to be playing in the late May and June this year.
Yeah.
Kevin Korchinski is averaging the 5th most time of any rookie in the NHL this season at 19 minutes and 28 seconds. The 2nd most time of any rookie in the NHL right now is Connor Bedard, 20 minutes and 19 seconds.
Can you sort that by defenseman?
As far as defenseman, he is 1, 2, 3.
All right.
3rd. Leading the way is Brock Faber, 23 minutes and 9 seconds.
The other thing, too, to consider, like, even if there is, like, all right, 3 or 4 games where it looks like he's kind of, trying to tread water a little bit, like, kind of, okay, it's getting a little too much for him, he can sit for a game or two. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, he doesn't have to start all 82 games for it to be success.
Yeah, exactly.
There are 28-year-old defensemen who've got 500 games under their belts who look like they're treading water from time to time.
This is what
happens.
Pat Verbeek is doing this with Leo Carlsson, where he's just like, I'm going to sit him every now and again, so he doesn't get overwhelmed. Like, and he's been great.
Fine.
Like, he's been like the numbers. He's like, if you look, one of my favorite accounts is Big Head Hockey on Twitter. First of all, they have awesome avatars, but it's at Big Head HCKY is the at handle there. The offense that Leo Carlsson is generating has been awesome.
Yeah.
But Pat Verbeek, the GM of the Ducks, is like, we're going to take our time with this guy. He's not going back. He's here. But we're going to ease him in the way we feel is best.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't have to be like 82 or Seattle. It can be, they can figure it out.
Yeah.
He could play 70 games. I'm willing to predict quite confidently there will be a night where Kevin's sitting up in the press box with us.
Yeah.
Because it's just, okay, you need a break. Luke knows these things. He's got his thumb on the pulse, especially being an ex-defenseman. He's going to know when, okay, it's time to pull back a little bit. He's being able to hold his own and handle everything that's been given to him. The second that's a problem, Luke will pull back. He's not going to force him. He's not going to, square peg, round hole and make sure, like, nope, you're playing 21 minutes in the night no matter how good you are. Right. No, he's going to do what's best for Kevin Korchinski.
And he's got the ability to be paired with 2 very good veterans with Seth Jones and Connor Murphy. So we saw him with Jones last game. He'll be with him again. He's getting power play opportunity. Like he's getting a lot of opportunities to grow and develop, and I think it's the best for him right now. And yeah, consistency at the NHL level is hard for anybody, especially a 19-year-old. But I think we're seeing more of that from him than I think you expect from most young defensemen. So that's also a positive. And Richardson also spoke about consistency as well with the team, not just Korchinski, but with the team as well.
Good analogy
there.
Yep.
Right.
I thought last game we played 40 minutes, and we seemed to crack first, and then the other team was ready to take advantage. We need to find that in our game. How can we be just consistent? And consistent doesn't mean playing the same all the time. It means recognizing the right play, and that's like in football, it's like a quarterback being mature enough to get out of the pocket and throw it out of bounds instead of rushing and throwing an interception. We don't need to throw an interception to the other team. We need to make them work for it. So, just an analogy from another sport, it just it makes sense. Sometimes you have to do that just to make you see it in your own sport. And because everybody sits on the couch at home on Sunday and watches football and says, well, what is he doing? Well, that's what people do when they watch our games. So I think you have to just be mature and realize that not winning the game on a shift by making the right play is sometimes not losing the game. Because if you're trying to force something, it gives the other team an opportunity to cash in, and that might make the difference in the game.
I like that he used a football analogy because I think just American sports fans have a better understanding of, because it's just ingrained in us.
Right.
And that live to play another day, live to fight another day. The don't try to throw the ball up in the air because you're going to get sacked. Throw the ball out of bounds or just eat the sack and go back to play the next play.
Right.
Before you even look at me, I'll laugh at myself. Just if there's no play there, get it deep. He used earlier in the comment, he said, get it behind your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And then either retrieve it or forecheck, and it frustrates and it wears out the opponent. Live to play another day, and that goes for Connor Bedard, it goes for Reese Johnson and everybody in between. Just you don't always have to go get the goal every shift.
Right.
And that's how they're going to learn. It's how they're going to grind the opponent's way like Vegas does. Night after night after night.
Yeah.
By the way, I found this. So Leo Carlsson has been really impressive so far. This is his game Saturday against Arizona. 21:33 of ice time. He had 4 shots, 5 scoring chances. 3 of them were high danger. Plus 15 differential with him on the ice. It was -5 without him. Plus 30 shot attempt differential with him on the ice. And a 73.98 5-on-5 expected goals for. That's third behind Zegras and Terry.
It's nice.
He's been really good.
That's
to start.
nice. That's why we say it will be great to see a guy like Connor Bedard play a team like the Arizona Coyotes because being able to have numbers like that against competition like that will make it feel like okay.
Well, he's
it's fine. Not every team is
Right.
Boston. Not every team is Colorado.
It'd be nice to
it'll
not
be okay.
be matched up against Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Mark Stone.
Jack Eichel.
It'd be nice to have a break and have Nick Schmaltz trying to cover Connor Bedard.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll feel different.
And hey, Pat Verbeek or Vat Burbeek
Vat Verbeek
took a beating for taking Carlson over Fantilli. Fantilli was, everybody thought, even sitting there on press row in Nashville when that pick was made, everybody kind of looked at you like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Chaos. It's here. And
what chaos?
So, so they, it's so far it's looked good for obviously Adam Fantilli. He had his first goal the other night.
Yep. Yeah.
It's an exciting time, as we said. It's an exciting time, but I think a lot of people were ready to just be like, Verbeek, what do you do? Myself including. I was like, I think you're going to regret that, and he still might.
Yeah.
But so far, so good.
It's just such an awesome time to be a hockey fan right now. Like you've got so many of the greats playing. You still got Crosby. You still got Malkin. Ovechkin is still playing, all at a high level. Then you've got McDavid, who's hurt for a while. And like that generation with McKinnon and McDavid and Matthews, and then you've got Makar and now Bedard and all these rookies. Like I'm trying to think of it. Like of course, when Gretzky and Lemieux and Messier and all those guys were playing at the same time was probably the heyday. but this is close to a second.
But when those guys were playing, there wasn't an exciting group of young guys coming behind
No,
them
not
like there
really.
is now.
No.
It took a while from them to go from that amazing 80s run to really get back to that kind of level. So it's nice. As you mentioned, you've got the graybeards that are still doing it, the current superstars, and you can already pick out another 4 to 5 guys going, that's going to be the next superstar.
Yep.
All right.
Good time.
Well, that was a good show. We should celebrate.
Yeah, we should. Yes, I was not prepared. Caught off guard. Hey, celebrate with
It's a
some
Monday, it's
Goose
all right.
Island beer from the Goose Island Beer Company, the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO and Chicago's beers since 1988. And you could choose from their illustrious roster of delicious beers, including the Full Pocket Pills, the 312 Wheat Ale, the entire family of Beer Hug IPAs, the Oktoberfest. You got Bull and Goose, which is the West Side Ale that is honoring the Chicago Bulls. You also have the Blackhawks Pale Ale. Both of those will be hitting the shelves very soon. They are available at the United Center at the Goose Island Bar. So if you're at a game, Bulls game, Hawks game, whatever it is, be sure to hit up the Goose Island Bar in the UC and get all of these beers. And if you're not at the United Center, but you're still in the Chicago area, grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at the Goose Island Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that's the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
All right, we are back tomorrow, post-game, Hawks and Bruins, the rematch, 7:30 at the United Center. Join us when the game's over. Also, reminder, this Friday, 5 o'clock at Legends in Mokina. We've got the watch party for the Hawks and Golden Knights out in Vegas. 5 p.m. puck drop, live post-game show that's presented by Goose Island. And remember, get those tickets to our November 4th takeover, allchgo.com.
Here's something fun. If you were at the game on Saturday, that was the only game in which an autographed Connor Bedard jersey would be available for the Blackhawks auctions that benefit the Blackhawks charity foundations. That jersey sold for $20,100.
Must be nice to have that kind of money.
Congratulations
to jersey.
to that very rich person who won the Connor Bedard autographed Blackhawks jersey at auction for $20,100.
You could have bought a score producer with that money.
It was the Duke.
I bet it was the Duke.
It was
probably
George McCaskey.
Young Dangle God, by the way, on brand. He says it's either Garland or a guy who could do even more for Bedard, and it wouldn't cost the team any assets. Cough, cough, 88. Thank you for your dollar.
When did Phil Kessel wear 88?
He also made a good point earlier, believe it or not, that it is unlikely that Alex DeBrincat keeps his 30% shooting percentage going.
Yeah, I'm no expert, but I think that's going to come down a little bit. And this time, again, right before we go, don't forget, mention Liam McHugh of TNT is joining us
Wednesday at 3.
Around the league Wednesday. So what better person to have than our guy Liam, as long as he doesn't book a last-minute flight again.
Lots of good stuff to talk about on Wednesday. I'm going to tell you guys after the show so I don't forget Wednesday.
Okay.
All right.
And tomorrow's game is the NHL Frozen Frenzy.
Yes.
So Round the League on ESPN with John Butchergross and Kevin Weeks. Going to be a very interesting full day of hockey. I'm very interested to see how that broadcast goes.
By the way,
all the last-minute things.
Tomorrow the Hawks win 3-2.
You've seen it already?
Calling it.
Okay, you've seen the script?
Okay.
I have.
Sweet.
It was right next to the draft script.
I'm hammering all
right
the
next
bets.
to those ball numbers.
Hammering
all right, we got to go. Shut up, everybody, including me, more than anyone. We'll touch tomorrow after Hawks Bruins on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
Y'all silly like the mayor.
Okay, so they've been talking.
That they wouldn't be.
Right.
They would be worse.
They couldn't go